Hey guys, Insane Mike here again with another chapter of my 100 favorite movies of all time. And I'll tell you what, I recorded all of these back to back. It's getting pretty late at night. I'm getting really tired. My voice keeps going out, and I keep forgetting to say things and whatnot. But if you were to look around my house in between videos, I start looking at the next batch of movies I'm going to talk about. And then I start going through my entire collection again and start grabbing different movies. So I got piles of movies everywhere. So when I say these are my 100 favorite films, it's kind of subjective as to how I'm feeling at this moment. There's obviously other films, and just because these are my top 100 doesn't mean there's not thousands of other films that I love and admire and I can't get enough of. I just did my best to try to narrow it down to 100. But let's get into it because we still have quite a few more to go. And we're going to start with Steven Spielberg again. This is the most obvious choice out of the Steven Spielberg catalog. We're talking 1975's Jaws. I remember the first time I saw Jaws, I taped it off of, I believe, it was WGN back in the day when cable channels around Halloween time would marathon horror movies, and Jaws was one of them that they did. They did a different horror movie every night of the week leading up to Halloween, and this was one of them, and I taped it off, and out of all of them that they had shown, this is the one I watched over and over and over and over again. It's a great movie. What else can be said about Jaws? Move on. Big fan of Edgar Wright and the movies that he made with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, but none of them are as awesome as the first one they did together from 2004, Shaun of the Dead. Such a loving tribute to George Romero in this movie and the zombie genre. Really hilarious, highly quotable, lots of fun. Next we have in 1981, Evil Dead. We finally got Sam Raimi up in the house here. About damn time, right? Obviously the original Evil Dead. I love this version, although, it's the Book of the Dead version. So it's just beautifully crafted. I love how on the back side of it, there's the ear there. I tend not to take this out because I know how latex works. It rots, and you can even see from the case here how it's getting discolored over time as well. And so I can't remember. I thought this one had a voice activated thing. I know they did one for Evil Dead 2 that definitely had a voice activated thing that would scream at you. I thought this one did too. But if it does, the voice thing doesn't work anymore. But this is just a cool version. And this is one of those Anchor Bay just consistently put out Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness over and over and over again. So I used to have 2 or 3 copies of the original Evil Dead. I kind of wish I still had at least one of those other versions. I still need to get the original on Blu-ray. I guess there's that route. But I watched this one a while because I hate taking it out of this box to watch it. It sits on a shelf, and that's where it needs to stay untouched. So I need to get another copy of Evil Dead on another format or something because I haven't watched it in forever. Going back to the world of comedy, another one of my favorite comedies. I've always been a fan of the Farrelly brothers and their films. I even like that Three Stooges movie. You can say what you want about me at this point, but I don't care. I've always loved the Three Stooges. So, other than that whole subplot of Moe getting involved with the Jersey Shore, which dates the movie, and 2, keep them Jersey Shore fucks out of the media as much as possible. And I just hate how it's just ram-fisted into the Three Stooges movie. But if you were to take that out, it's a great movie. Will Sasso is Curly. He was born to play Curly. But that's not what we're talking about. We're actually talking about one of the Farrelly brothers' first films, 1998's Kingpin. Man, this movie is hysterical, and it's like the perfect comedy on so many levels. And back in the day, in '95, it was quite the role reversal to have Woody Harrelson as kind of the scumbag character and Randy Quaid as the innocent character. Another great Randy Quaid performance, just like in Freaked. Another director that we have not talked about in the top 100 is Martin Scorsese. And yeah, I'm a Scorsese fan. I definitely lean more towards his gangster films, like Goodfellas. Goodfellas almost made the top 100, but there's one movie that squeaked it out, and this is my favorite Scorsese film, and one I watch constantly. And sometimes I get myself, if I have to get myself psyched up when I go to work, like I'll pop in Casino, watch it for a little while to kind of get myself in pit boss mode, and that's 1995's Casino. This movie's great. It's got Joe Bob Briggs in it, so it can't be all that bad, right? But it's Scorsese at his best. It's my favorite Scorsese film ever. So, with After Hours being a close second. Again, I choose like the worst in people's careers to be my favorite films, you know. But anyway, John Waters back on the list again. Almost all of John Waters' movies made it into the top 100. What can I say? That's how much of a John Waters fan I am. This time around, it's Pecker, which is sort of kind of based on a true story, but I also feel it's really another kind of autobiographical film where, like, John, again, this character of doing his art through photography is a reflection of John Waters and his art through filmmaking. Because, you know, Pecker he doesn't take beautiful sunset pictures and stuff. He takes pictures of rats fucking on top of a garbage can, or, you know, just kind of the ugly side of Baltimore, which was kind of always what John Waters did with his films, the ugly side of finding the beauty in the ugly side of Baltimore. And then, like, Pecker going through his moment of fame and recognition, kind of like, you know, John Waters going through that stuff when he hit big with Hairspray and Crybaby. So, great movie. One of the last great Edward Furlong performances, and Christina Ricci is in it all as well, and she's awesome. Back to Italy now. This time it's a Lamberto Bava movie, Mario Bava's son, but it's produced by Dario Argento, so it really has a lot of Dario Argento feel to it. But this is pure comfort food. This is a movie I will put in constantly for background noise when I'm doing other things, and that's from 1985, Demons. This movie's awesome. You know, it's people getting attacked by demons in a movie theater. So, what can you say? And gore-alicious. Gore-alicious. Another filmmaker I'm a really big fan of that has not been brought up on this list yet, but now we're getting down to the end. We're going to talk about him a couple times, and that's Mel Brooks. Saw this movie in the theater. So happy I got to see it in the theater. From 1987. Spaceballs! Man, I love this movie. It's such a great satire of not just Star Wars, but all sci-fi films, really. And some of his attention to detail in the film is just that typical Mel Brooks craftsmanship that I love so much with his silly sense of humor. I remember seeing this in the theater and laughing my ass off. The only one in the theater laughing hysterically at the opening shot. I am a huge fan of what I call awkward pauses in comedies, where there's just an awkward silence that just lingers too long. I find that shit hysterical, and the opening shot of this falls into that category for me, where it's just the spaceball ship going along the screen, and the music the music really helps it too, where like, okay, now you think you're coming to the end of the ship, but no, there's more ship. And I'm just laughing and laughing and laughing because the ship doesn't fucking end. The shot lasts forever. Anyway, Spaceballs, watch out. Sticking with comedy, 1985's Clue. This is another comfort food movie that I'll put it in and watch it in the background. An amazing cast of funny people. Madeline Kahn, Martin Mull, Christopher Guest. Not Christopher Guest, I'm sorry. Oh, shoot. Michael McKean. I was thinking Spinal Tap again. Michael McKean, Leslie Ann Warren, and of course, freaking Tim freaking Curry, man. His second greatest performance, right up there with Frankenfurter. And this is another movie that I can quote constantly. Last one in this video I'm going to talk about. I don't really have a good copy of it. It's part of this pack. I've got it in a couple of cheesy cheap packs. This one here, Killer Creature. But it's my favorite Roger Corman movie of all time. From 1959, Bucket of Blood. So, starring Dick Miller, and the movie that really put Dick Miller on the map and made many filmmakers a huge fan of Dick Miller, because people like Joe Dante would continually use Dick Miller. Other filmmakers like Jim Wynorski would put Dick Miller in his movies and name him the same character as in Bucket of Blood. He was Walter Paisley in Bucket of Blood, and he has played that character in films at least like eight to 10 times, something like that. In like Chopping Mall and Night of the Creeps, just a ton of movies where that's his character is Walter Paisley. He's not playing Walter Paisley the way his character is portrayed, but they name his character Walt or Walter or W. Paisley or whatever. So, but what's great about Bucket of Blood, again, it feels like it's very autobiographical. There's a lot of parallels between what's going on with Walter Paisley in this movie and Roger Corman's own career. So, I love these like subtle. Apparently, I love these movies from filmmakers that have more of a personal note to them. It feels like it gives me more insight on the directors that I love. So that's it for this one. Another 10 of them out of the way. We are coming down to the last 15. So we'll be able to get this wrapped up in 2 more videos. So again, thanks for donating to Patreon, and we'll talk to you again really soon.